What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Gastelum. A little bit late on these predictions and breakdowns, so I'm not going to spend too long on each person here. Remember to sign up to my Patreon account. Link will be down below. Hit the thumbs up button to get these videos out. And also leave some comments down below, alright? Also subscribe. First fight here we're going to look at. We got Ramiz versus Sasha Palanov. Mispronounced that. Ramiz here is going to have a strong wrestling base here, man. With also submissions, right? So once he get a hold of you, he's going to put you down. But he also gets tired in the fight. His opponent here, Sasha, more like a zombie, more of a striker, kind of push forward, but his chin is kind of up. But he does have good footwork though, and does move around, right? But he does take a lot of hits, and he can get taken down, and he can get submitted in this fight. So I'm gonna push a little bit more towards Ramiz for the win here, but I'm not confident because again, Ramiz can get tired in the fight, and if he does get tired, you can see Sasha possibly can pull off a win here. All right. Let me see something here. Yeah. So that's about it, guys. I like Ramiz for the win here. I'm gonna say Ramiz by submission. Okay. Yeah. All right. Next fight here, we got Roosevelt Robbers versus Ignacy Bamudos. Mispronounced that big time. Roberts is a pretty quick guy here, man. Very athletic. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. Mostly look for the submissions, but his stand-up is pretty good too. He will slow down in the later rounds though, like kind of like to the end of the second into the third. He gets kind of slower in those later rounds there, but he's still a dangerous fighter though, right? His opponent here, Ignacy, has a striking base on him, and you know, I think he's been kickboxing from when he was a young kid, but he's hittable though, and he doesn't take his head off center line, and he's gonna have the reach advantage. You have a 2-inch of reach in this fight, but he does take a lot of damage though, and you can take him down to the ground, right? Compared to striking, I would say Ignacy might be the more technical in a way, but at the same time, he does take a lot of damage, and he can get taken down. And with Roberts, I feel Roberts is a little bit more well-rounded because of the submission edge. But this is a close fight. This entire card, guys, is a pretty close card. So a lot of even fights should be on this card once I check the odds out. But I'm gonna go towards Roberts, but I'm not confident either, guys, because Ignacy is a pretty good striker, man. And if you can keep Roberts on the outside, which in fights that I see, he doesn't use his reach and his height too well. You know, you can be the shorter reach person and still hit him with shots and still close the distance on him and pepper him up with shots, right? So he doesn't use his reach very, very well. So I'm gonna push towards Roberts, and I'm gonna say Roberts by submission, guys, but not confident. Like I said, this is a tough card, and a lot of the fights here should be close to even. All right. Next fight here, we got William Knight, which is the next. This fight here is this is a tough one to call. William Knight versus Fabio Cherant. Knight here is pretty much just a very athletic guy, very, very physically strong. You know, once you grab a hold of you, he can put you down. He will muscle up. He will muscle through moves and muscle through a lot of, you know, like try to get up from the ground. He will muscle up, which can burn his energy out, right? But he's heavy-handed. And, you know, if he land a shot on you, he could knock you out, right? But like I said, he muscles through a lot of things, man. And his opponent here, Cherant, his strength is the ground, and he will look for the submission. But his stand-up, there's holes in his stand-up, and not the most powerful striker. He doesn't really have any KO, TKO power. So in this fight here, if Knight can just put the body against him, he can probably out-muscle him and probably out-strength him, but then I feel like Cherant may have the better technique, but at the same time, man, it's a tough one to call. And with Cherant here, he's going to have a 3-inch of reach, a 3-inch of height. But like I said, man, I feel like Knight could just power through him and put him down on the ground. And probably just maybe get a KO TKO by ground and pound. Right? Kind of similar to what Alonso did. But with Alonso, you got the Von Flue choke on him. But I just feel like Knight may be mentally more stronger here in the mind. And Cherant, he does have the submission game, but then he's gonna rely on submitting. Stand up, not gonna really be there, and Knight has the heavy hands. And Cherant goes for takedowns, but sometimes he doesn't get it, and Cherant can get taken down. So I like Knight for this, and I'm gonna say Knight by KO TKO, guys. All right. Next fighter, we got Bea Malecki versus Josiane Nunes. Bea here, I mean, her striking is there, you know. Throw a lot of jab straight in the pocket. Likes to use that Mai Gary, that front kick. But her head is straight up though, man. And she eats a lot of shots. But she's going to have a 7-inch of height and a 7-inch of reach over her opponent. 7-inch of height and 7-inch of reach. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Nunes making her debut here. From what I see from her, I mean, her striking is kind of wild. You know, throws a lot of wild hook punches. Very aggressive forward. She has 6 by KO, but like I said, she's kind of wild with it. She could be the quicker fighter here. She will also look for the takedown, but she can get taken down too. This is a fight where, guys, you know, this one is a toss-up, to be honest with you, because this can go either way, to be honest. I mean, Nunes is going to have the shorter reach and the height. So Bea should, you know, suppose he can win this fight because she has the 7-inch of height and 7-inch of reach. But again, you know, we have seen fights with people with long reach and don't know how to use it. So, but with Nunes, no, she throws a lot of punches in bunches, but sometimes nothing connect. And in this fight, she have the shorter reach, so most likely it's not going to connect because it's a 7-inch of reach advantage, yo. So I'm gonna go with Bea for the win here, and I'm gonna say Bea by decision. But I'm not confident, guys. All right, definitely not. And this is a fight where you can probably fade it. I mean, to be honest with you. All right. Next fight here, we got Brian Kelleher versus Domingo Pilarte. Brian Kelleher, you can say kind of like a vet, very experienced guy, strong wrestling base. Will definitely look for the submission, especially the guillotine choke. Very heavy-handed too. Not the most technical guy when it comes to the striking, but he put it together though, and he lands heavy shots, right? His opponent here, Domingo, he's gonna have the 6-inch of height and a 10-inch of reach, man. She's gonna have a 10-inch of reach, dude. But what I noticed from Domingo though, man, I don't know, it's like a mental thing. You can close the distance on him and put him against the cage. It's like he's a very slow starter. He usually starts up in maybe like the end of the second round. So he's a very, very slow starter. And Brian Kelleher is a fast starter. With Domingo, he has the ground game here. He'll look for the submissions. But his stand-up, man, he's kind of open. And you can catch him with shots. Kind of like what Journey did in that first round. Like I said, I feel Domingo, I know Domingo is a slow starter. Right, but he's going to have the 6-inch of height, though, and a 10-inch of reach. So that's massive, man. But I don't know, man. It's like, I feel like Brian could be a little more savvy, a little more better IQ. I feel with Domingo, you can put him against a cage, you possibly can take him down. You know, you can score on him, even though he has a longer reach, and then he may pick it up in the later rounds, but then it may be too late. So it's not too active either. So I'm gonna go with Brian Kelleher here, guys. But again, this card here is a very tough card. It's not an easy card to predict. It's not an easy card to predict, man. A lot of fights are, in my opinion, are very close. Once I look at the odds, I haven't seen the odds yet, but once I look at the odds, then I see. But majority of the fights should be close to even. I'm going with Brian Kelleher here. I'm gonna say Brian Kelleher by submission. It could be his guillotine choke, because Domingo will give his neck up, man. It's just Domingo is like, I don't know, you can't really trust him too much. Slow start, and Brian Kelleher is a fast starter, right? So I'm going with Brian Kelleher by submission, guys. Next fighter, we got Luis Saldana versus Austin Lingo. Saldana is gonna have the 3-inch of reach here. His striking is pretty decent, man. Very accurate. Accurate with the kicks, accurate with the punches. His combinations are pretty good. Can't get taken down, but he will scramble up back to his foot, and he will also look for takedowns, right? His opponent, Lingo, Austin Lingo, is a very straightforward guy. He will sit in the pocket with you and strike it out. Throw a lot of combinations with the hand. A lot of volume with the hands, and he keep coming. He's like a zombie in there. He keep coming straight forward at you, but he's thorn though. But then he's hittable. That's the thing. Against Saldana, I mean, Saldana is a pinpoint accurate striker, man, and his kicks and punches is non-telegraphed, so you don't really see them coming. But with Lingo will put the pressure on you though, and he may look for takedowns, but what I see from Saldana supposed to can stop his takedowns, man. Supposed to, right? This is also a tough one here, but because Lingo could put a pressure, but then he's open though, man. And I feel a better striker here is Saldana, and Saldana has grappling and he has submission games. So I'm gonna push a little bit more towards Luis Saldana for the win here. I'm going to say Luis Saldana by KO TKO, guys, and I'm not confident. I feel like majority of all of this card, I'm not confident in nothing. Because the fights are so close. The fights are very close, man. So I like Saldana by KO TKO, guys. Alright. Next fight here, we have Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. This is a good fight. Pantoja is a very well-rounded guy, man. I mean, BJJ black belt. He can take this fight anywhere if he wants to. Coming off the ATT, American Top Team, which is a very good gym. Heavy striker, but he will gas out in the later rounds, though. Like, if you keep pushing that pressure on him, by the end of the second, he starts to get tired, right? His opponent here, Royval. Royval is a pretty good fighter, too, man. BJJ black belt also. Very well-rounded. His striking, it's kind of elusive, but he gets sloppy with it at times. He gets sloppy and he's open, right? So he's hittable. He's sneaky though, that's the thing. And his ground game is very friggin' sneaky. He's going to have the 4-inch of height and the 2-inch of reach, right? He just came off an injury when he fought Brandon Moreno. His shoulder popped out, right? So this is his first time coming back. But Pantoja is no joke though, man. This is a tough fight to come back to. But Brandon Royval, like I said, he's sneaky with the submission. So this is the next fight here, man, where it's like, it's a tough one to call because, I mean, Pantoja striking is pretty legit. His ground game is legit too. I feel like Pantoja could edge out the victory here on the stand-up. But then if he goes to the ground, you have to be careful because Royval is very sneaky and he's quick too. He's fast at the movement, man. But he's all over the place too, and he's hittable. I'm gonna go with Pantoja for this one, guys. But again, Brandon Royval, he's sneaky, so be careful. He could pull off a submission, even though Pantoja had never been finished before. I don't think he has. I think Royval been finished because of his shoulder popping out. So that's like the first time he lost by TKO. Stoppage, I guess, because his shoulder popped out. And Pantoja has never been finished before, I don't think. Nope. So this is gonna be a pretty good fight, but it's a tough one to call because Royval could get a victory here. If he gets a victory, possibly could be more grinding on the ground by using the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but probably by wrestling more. Maybe get a decision probably. He may not get a submission though, but the submission is there though, but he may not get that. He may get a decision. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm going with Pantoja. I'm gonna say Pantoja by decision, guys. I'm not confident. Alright. See. Next fight here. We got Vinc Pichel versus Austin Hubbard. Back and forward in this one. Big time back and forward. Pichel is pretty well-rounded guy. Striking, he used to set up his wrestling for his takedowns. So his striking is okay. But he's still well-rounded, but he's still working on it. Most of his thing is his grappling. So he will grind. And usually he starts off a little bit slow and then pick up in the middle of the second round and into the third. His opponent here, Hubbard. Hubbard is more striking base. Very heavy hitter. will look for the takedowns. He will throw a low volume sometime in the first rounds, but in his recent fights, he's been looking a little bit more faster on the takeoff. Like in the first round, he kind of throwing more volume now. But in his earlier fights, he was kind of slow against Davi Ramos, kind of slow at the first of the round against Mark, kind of, you know. But then these guys were taking him down though, and that's the thing about this fight against Vinc Pichel. He could look for takedowns in this fight. But I noticed with Vinc Pichel, his fights now, he's trying to stand up more and push a little bit less of the wrestling because he gasses out. And he will gas out. He will start out slow, pick up in the second, and then start to fade in the third. So this is a fight where he may want to stand up and then maybe wrestle a little bit. But Hubbard takedown defense has been looking good though. So back and forth in this one, but I'm going to go with a Hubbard for the win here. I'm going to say Hubbard by decision, guys. And I'm not confident either. Next fight here, we have Trevon Jones versus, wow, Said. Oh, man, Kakhramonov. I'm just going to say Said, guys. Trevon Jones, you're a very heavy hitter, man. Raw power. Raw. And he's mentally strong, and he will surprise you. He will pull those wins off, man. Against Timur. He won that fight against Timur Valev. He won that fight, man. He won the fight. But the mark was a non-contest. They actually robbed him in that fight. But he won. He actually knocked out Timur and won the fight. Beat Mario Batista. So Said here making his debut. I watched his footage of some of his fights. He's a pretty quick guy. He seems well-rounded, but I feel like the way how he fights, he kind of launches in a lot. And Jones looks like he counters, you know, and he counters with that kind of like a hook kind of jab he has there. But Jones is pretty quick, and he's pretty durable guy too. So for Said making his short notice here, and the way how he moves in there, I can see Jones maybe getting a KO TKO. It's possible. But the next fight I'm not confident in because Said doesn't look bad, but I still see some holes in him, and I can see Jones maybe getting a victory here. So I'm going to say Jones by KO TKO, guys. I'm not confident either. Next fight here, Chase Sherman versus Parker Porter. Both heavyweights, so this can go either way. Chase Sherman, heavy hitter. Zombie, walks straight ahead of you. Gonna have the 3-inch of reach. His chin is up, takes a lot of hit, been knocked out 4 times. He has a heavy leg kick though, which he uses a lot now. So he kind of take out that lead leg, right? And then he breaks it down, and then he works his punches. So he kind of coming up with a more of a game plan, because before he used to like just brawl and come straight, which he still does that, but now he's mixing it up a little more with leg kicks and then work the hands, right? His opponent here, Porter. Porter is a heavy hitter too. He will push forward too, kind of aggressive also. Kind of open to shots, kind of similar to Sherman. The both are just going to come straight forward. Porter may have more, it might be slightly more technical, more loose in the movement, more fluid with the kind of movements he has. Sherman a little bit more stiff, but Sherman pack more power though. And if you use those leg kicks and mixed up with the punches, you probably could see a KO TKO. So I'm going to go with Sherman here by a KO TKO, and not confident. These are both heavyweights, man. So, I mean, anything can happen here. Porter can land something. I mean, both of these guys, Porter been knocked out 3 times, Sherman been knocked out 4 times. So it doesn't take much to connect, and your face not meant to get hit. So, but I'm going with Sherman by KO TKO. All right. Clay Guida versus Mark Madsen. Clay Guida, we all know Clay Guida, a veteran, been in the game for a long time, man. Real long time. 2000 and damn. Even WC 2006 he started. I mean, he started inside the UFC. But been fighting from 2003. Wow. Wow. This guy's been in the game for a minute, dude. The thing about this fight is that Clay Guida, still has a little something there, but his opponent there, Madsen, though, man. Mark Madsen, he has a strong wrestling base, dude. Very strong wrestling base, man. Kind of similar to Sterling. He has that kind of vibe with him, and then he also can punch. So it's not like he can't punch, right? So once he grab a hold in, and then he can control you on the ground, it's pretty much ground and pound, or he's just going to hold you down there and just control you for the whole 3 rounds. So Clay Guida would have to probably get a submission here. But once you get a hold of Clay, I mean, even though Clay moves around still quickly, he's always like jumping up and down the place and fast movements, they're kind of like a hyper guy, right? But I mean, once the guy closes the distance and kind of put him down, then you can control him on the ground. And Madsen, he's a high level wrestler. So I mean, these guys, like I said, it's kind of like Sterling kind of vibe, but his wrestling credentials are very, very high level. And I'm not saying Guida can't get a win here. It's possible, he can slap on a submission. But when was the last time Guida had a finish? 2017 against Joe Lozon, which Joe Lozon is, I think he retired. He's kind of faded. You know what I'm saying? He's not. He's a faded fighter. Like, he's been. I mean, he had his time, right? He had his moments. I'm gonna go with Madsen here. I'm gonna say Madsen by decision, guys. I can see Madsen just taking him down, and just basically control him on the ground and avoid the submissions. Madsen also has submissions too, so he also has submissions. So and he also can ground and pound for win. So. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Madsen here by decision, guys. All right. I think that was co-main event. Is it? I think it was. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. The main fight on the card now is Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum. This is the next tricky fight here, because remember Cannonier is coming down from 205. So this is a big guy dropping down, and he's been looking good at 185, man. I think he only lost to Robert Whittaker, yeah, at 185. Yeah, he's always been at 205, but he doesn't do too well at 205 because the guys at 205, he was always at 265 too. The guys at that weight were massive, and he was like the smaller guy at 205. But once he started dropping down at 185, he started to look good. Very powerful striker, raw power. He's gonna have the 6-inch of reach. And 2-inch of, actually my bad, sorry, he's gonna have this 6, hold on there, he's gonna have this 6-inch of reach, yeah, and the 2-inch of height, correct? Yep, 2-inch of height and 6-inch of reach, man. That's massive. This is the thing about this fight though, man. It's a 5-round fight, right? And Cannonier can get taken down if there's a game plan here with Kelvin Gastelum, and Kelvin Gastelum can move around for a little bit, which he can, and kind of push the fight in the later rounds, he could pull off a decision here. I mean, Cannonier is a powerful striker on powerful leg kicks though, man. He has to avoid a lot of strikes from Cannonier, man, to actually win this fight. I mean, if Cannonier lands solid on him, could knock him out, but Gastelum has never been knocked out. I believe he only been submitted twice. Yeah, never been finished. Cannonier has been finished though, but mostly I think at 205, right? So this is a fight here, man, where, man, I can see this going either way, to be honest. I mean, Gastelum has a strong wrestling base here, and he can strike, but Cannonier is a heavy hitter though. He's a raw heavy hitter, and Gastelum is at 185, but he should be at 155 or something like that, man. At 185, he's too small, man. And these guys are massive. So this could be the thing. I mean, this could be a fight where Cannonier just bully him with more the strength, more the power. But then you gotta look at the wrestling advantage, though. Gastelum can take him down, though, and if he come up with a good game plan, kind of wear down on Cannonier, because it's a 5-round fight. If he can wear him down, he may can get a victory here, man. So, and Gastelum is a more experienced guy here, man. I mean, he's way more experienced. Fought Israel Asana or another soldier. In fact, most of the guys in the sport. Neil Magny's, Tyron Woodley's, even though he lost to them, but, Gerard Cannonier is like, yeah, he beat some guys here and there, but again, the frame of him and the power, that can make a massive difference. And Kelvin Gastelum is a freaking small 185er, man. I must say Gastelum guys here, but I can see Cannonier pulling off a victory here, to be honest. But I feel that wrestling can make a difference, and especially the 5-round fight. He can game plan and wear him down in the later rounds. Kind of grind him out for the win. I mean, that should be his game plan. His game plan shouldn't be standing up in front of him and just striking, because the leg kicks from Cannonier, the punching power, I feel like it's going to be too much. But the wrestling aspect, if he can put him against a cage and grind, which Gastelum is a pretty good wrestler. If he can implement it in a 5-round fight, he can pull it off. I'm going to go with Gastelum. I'm going to say Gastelum by decision, guys. Alright? But not confident. Quick look at the odds here, guys. Let's see. Also went 6-3 on the Bellator. 6-3, guys. On my Patreon account, I had some plays with Aguirre winning, with Fabio Aguirre winning, and I had a play with Hamill winning. So I went maybe 6-2 on my Patreon and 6-3 on my YouTube. Like I said, sign up to my Patreon account, guys, and I have other plays, other prop bets on there too that actually came through. So I told you about Logo, that Logo would win. Is actually submitted Lee. That kid is very good, man. The Lugo is very good kid, man. He's a good prospect. Also, like I said about Archie, Archie's a very good prospect, man. And Logan Sterling too. I mean, he felt bad about that fight, but Dante is a very tall dude with reach, and Dante is a good fighter. And he proves that. He proved that he's a very good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the guy is no pushover, and his guard is very good. It was hard for Sterling to even pass the guard. He gave Sterling a good challenge. You know, he made Sterling work in that fight. All right, so let's take a look at odds of the UFC real quick here, guys. Okay, Ramiz, I have him at 136. It's close to even, man. But I can see Sasha winning though, guys, so be careful. But I don't really disagree with the odds, but it should be more even fight, which it may be even, is possible. Even though I'm kind of late in my predictions, but maybe not. But be careful. But I like Ramiz for the win though. But I think Sasha can edge it. Be careful. Roberts 146. All right. Yeah, he's more well-rounded here. I don't really disagree. The odds are kind of close. So, like I said, it should be close to even, and Ramiz is close to even, and Roberts is close to even. So I am right, right? Yeah, I don't disagree. I feel Roberts is more well-rounded guy. You can take this fight anywhere, and with his opponent Ignacio, Ignacio is hittable, and he doesn't use his reach as good as he should, right? So yeah, I don't disagree with this one. Bea and Nunes, they got Bea at 162, 150, kind of close to even. It could be a little closer though, man. Maybe even, actually this fight should be even, to be honest. So I kind of disagree with this one, because Nunes could possibly pull off a win, because Bea she's kind of straightforward, head is up, but she's a taller female, 7 reach and 7 height, which is a lot, and she got a front kick down the pocket. So it should be even fight, because with these fights here, anything can happen. So especially Bea and Nunes. So I would say more even, guys. Chariot and Knight, they got Knight. Wow, 185. They got Knight kind of high. I can see Knight overpowering Chariot. So, man. I don't really disagree too much, but it could be a little lower, maybe 150, 140, which some sites have that 160. So this is not so bad, because I have Knight winning. So, but just be careful though, because Chariot, if he can, but that's that with Knight don't really have a neck to even submit. So that guy is built like a truck, man. Chariot would have to probably take him down and control him on the ground, which I don't even see that happening because of the strength advantage. You know, unless Knight gasses out, which is possible. But yeah, I mean, it's okay, but I don't really agree too much, but it's okay. Brian Kelleher and Domingo. We got Brian Kelleher as a pretty favorite here. I don't really disagree with that. I mean, I feel Brian Kelleher is a more experienced guy here, and a veteran guy, and Domingo is like, he has holes, and you just can't really trust him too much, right? So yeah, I kind of agree with that. Salda and Lingo, even fight. I agree with the odds in this one. This is definitely an even fight here. Can see it going either way. I can see Lingo winning too, but I see Lewis more the sharper striker, right? So don't disagree with this one. Pantoja favorite. Yeah, I don't disagree with this one. Could be a little closer, but again, I mean, Pantoja is a very good fighter, and Royval coming off of a shoulder injury. You know what I mean? Pantoja is not an easy fight, man. So the odds in there is pretty much right. Austin Hubbard, Vinc Pichel, it's pretty much right here. Because Vinc Pichel, if he plans right, he could get the takedowns on Hubbard. It's very possible. So the odds are right. Like I said, most of these cards are going to be close to even, and I'm right. Trevon Jones and Said is pretty much right. Pretty much close to even. Chase, Sherman, and Parker. Wow. Chase Sherman's kind of high. This should be more closer fight. I disagree with the odds in this one. This should be more closer because they're both heavy hitters, even though Chase Sherman hits harder. But they're both big weight. They're both heavyweights. So be careful with this one. I disagree because Parker could edge a win here. Mark Madsen and Clay Guida. They got Madsen. I really don't disagree. Close to even. I really don't disagree with the odds in here because Madsen has, like I said, a strong wrestling base, and once he can take you down, he has submissions and his striking. He can punch. So it's not like he's like a, like a fish out of water when it comes to striking. And Clay Guida can get taken down and controlled. Cannonier is favorite. Which I don't really blame them because I guess they're looking at the weight difference here and the strength, and Kelvin Gastelum is like small for the weight class. I don't disagree really, but I like Kelvin Gastelum for the win. But I can see where Cannonier could be a favorite. Like I said, close to even, which is about right. So exactly, they got the odds in here right. Everything is pretty much close to even. The Sherman and the Parker, I disagree. Let's see what I said disagree with. I think the Knight and Brian Kelleher slightly disagree, but I think they can edge out that fight. And the Bea fight, I disagree. That should be straight up even. Yeah, so man, they got the odds in here, right? The card is, I told you, this card's a very tough card, so a lot of fights are going to be very, very, very close on this card. So that's about it there, guys. That's my predictions and breakdown. I'm going to try to get these fights a little bit earlier during the week. It's been kind of busy doing other things. Like I said, guys, leave your comments down below. Sign up to my Patreon's account. Give me some thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. I will leave all my prop bets and my face-off predictions on my Patreon account. So if you want to see all those predictions and the prop bets and the face-off predictions, go check out my Patreon account. All right. Like I said, I did pretty good on the Bellator. Yeah, I went 6-3, and on the Patreon I went 6-2, and a couple prop bets. So that's how it goes, guys. One love out to everybody. Enough respect to my Patreon. Enough respect out to everybody out there. One love to everybody. You guys keep on kicking, and os.